Hey everyone, welcome back to Hacky Lessons, and it is time. By now, you hopefully have some cards for set 1 of the One Piece card game, and now you're ready to build a deck. So I have a few deck profiles to show you. This video's profile is going to be the Doflamingo Warlords deck. Don Quixote Doflamingo. If you don't know what this leader does, let me just run through it. Don times 2, when attacking, pay 1 Don and then reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a 7 Warlords type, with a play cost of 4 or less, you may play that card rested. When you make the most of this ability, 2 things happen. You end up with a pretty big hand because all the characters you're playing are from your deck instead of your hand, and you'll be attacking with your leader with 7,000 power every turn, so that's a bit of pressure as well. So let's go through the list. This is just a just in case 2 1-drop Trafalgar Laws, because although there are a lot of blockers in the deck, most of them are getting played off the leader ability in rest mode. So when you really need a blocker when it counts, a cheap one like Traffy might be useful. So I'll just put him at 2. But a very key card for this deck is Perona. So Perona is just a 1-drop, and on play she looks at the top 5 and then rearranges them. So this way you'll always know what card is going to be on top, so you can use your lead ability with confidence and be sure to actually play a Warlord. Because you don't want to do it blindly and then end up there being an event card on top. Same idea, we have 4 copies of Kuma. This one costs 2. Obviously, Perona's better. She costs 1 and looks at top 5, whereas Kuma only looks at the top 3. But you can't always rely on having a Perona in hand, so you want a little bit more options for that. And this one does have the trigger, so it can play from life. This also has the same ability, but now we're getting into a bigger card. 4 copies of Doflamingo. So this one is a 3-cost blocker, and likewise, it does the top 5 search and then rearrange. So this might be one that you'll be playing off your leader ability because you saw it with Perona, and then he can arrange the next lot of cards. So the deck will run a lot of 4-cost character cards. We're basically paying 1 Don to play them. 4 copies of Mihawk is 2,000 counter, and if he is an attacker, he has the Don times 1 when attacking. Draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. If you do use that ability, you need to be careful if you have just rearranged the top 5 with Perona or whatever. You got to think a few steps ahead and realize that you're going to be using this ability to not accidentally take away what you just rearranged. 4 copies of Boa Hancock. So she's a blocker, she costs 4, she has 5,000 power, and she has Don times 1 when attacking or on block. Draw 1 card if you have 5 or less cards in your hand. So that's another one to think ahead when you rearrange and when you're planning on using this ability. But so she can act as a blocker to get that draw, or she can attack to get that draw. And with 5,000 power, she is a decent attacker as well. And then 2 copies of the promo Croc. This Croc is like extra, because let's compare it to Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock is a blocker that costs 4 with 5,000 power. Crocodile costs 4 with 5,000 power, but he's only a blocker once you attach a Don. So obviously you would run Hancock over Croc. If you don't have a playset of Hancock, you could substitute with Crocodiles. Obviously, so this is the cheaper option. But Boa Hancock is much better value. 4 copies of Gecko Moira. So this card is pretty great. On play, and you'll play him off your leader ability, so you're playing him for cheaper even. Add a 7 Warlord or Thriller Bark type character with cost of 4 or less other than Gecko Moira from your trash to your hand. So he can grab back, say, Mihawk, the 2,000 counter. He can grab back Perona, as she is a Thriller Bark pirate. Just about most of the cards in this deck, this can grab. And Marshall D. Teach, a little bit of removal, light removal. So he has on play, return 1 character with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hands. And note that it doesn't say your opponent, so you could use on your own cards if, say, you wanted to use a Perona again. This is a strong card. It is another Gecko Moira, and this one is 4 cost with 5,000 power. Your turn. This character gains double attack if you have 5 or more cards in hand. You got to remember that aspect to it. So make sure, you have 5 cards in hand, and then it's a double attack. So that's pretty good pressure. But do note that other Gecko Moira cannot grab this one. It specifically says, it doesn't say this card, it says it can't grab Gecko Moiras. So we cannot grab this one back. And then heavy hitters for the deck, 4 copies of Crocodile. So this costs 7, has 7,000 power, and Banish. And it also has a Don ability, Don times 1, give blue events in your hand -1 cost. Now, it costs 7, and that is relevant because your leader ability essentially costs 3. You attach 2 to the leader and pay 1. So you can, if you need to, play this and use your leader ability in the same turn. But that will be all of your Don spent. This is a one-off, Dracula Mihawk. It's a one-off because the 9 cost is very steep. I often find if you play this card, you want to be playing at the right moment. Otherwise, you'll be very, very defenseless with no Don left up. So on play, place 1 character with a cost of 7 or less at the bottom of its owner's deck. Now, this is a similar ability to the 7 cost Doflamingo, but that one puts the card back to the owner's hand. So this is better, but it does cost more. Still, if you can play this and not die the next turn, you've got a 9,000 power attacker. Onto event cards. And 4 copies of Sables. So just strong removal. This puts a 7 cost or less back to the owner's hand. I was using the Doflamingo in the deck as well, but I was finding that 7 cost was a bit too steep. So you don't like, obviously the Crocodile's 7 costs as well, you don't want too many 7 costs in this deck. 4 copies of Overheat. This will give your opponent, give one of your cards 4,000 power for the battle, then return 1 active character with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. That can essentially stop 2 attacks if you use it at the right moment. It also has a trigger that just returns a 4 cost or less to the owner's hand. And this is only at 2. It is Love Beam, and the reason it is only at 2 is because you get to draw a card, and that is good, except you'll always use it at the moment where it'll stuff up the order that you've put your deck in. So that's why I've gone 4-2 split here. They're both giving you 4,000 power counter power. But this one kind of ruins your strategy if you use it at the wrong moment, so better to have this one. So that's the deck list, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and hopefully it helps you out in your tournament play. If you enjoyed this profile and you want to see more, there's a few more on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll be able to see all the One Piece content I'll be putting out as the game continues to grow. Alright, I'll see you later.